This week on the Reseller Locker Room, we sat down with the world's okayest reseller. We're talking to Scott. We're going to find out how rad he is with his picking. Plus, we're going to talk about the new AI listing programs and how it may affect your reselling business.
Flip or die. The Resellers Locker Room podcast. The Resellers of entertainment and zero instruction. Out on the road hitting thrift store gold. Three wild men with stories untold. Beard kings growling, Rocky Tops wild. CJ's laughing like a metalhead child. Sipping brews in a cheap motel. Talking deals and tales we never sell. This ain't no class, it's a backstage pass to the resale game with some serious sass. Flip or die. We're living fast in the reseller sky.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Locker Room. I think we're episode 87. My name is Ben, the Rocky Top Picker, and up above is Alex, the Beard King Picker, Jefferson, CJ Benz Finds, and our special guest, Scott, the world's okayest picker, the Rad Picker. Welcome into the Locker Room, gentlemen. How are we?
Great. How are y'all?
I'm exhausted.
How so?
Fat and happy over here.
Well, that's every day, so at least you're steady and
Hey, man,
consistent.
I don't need no lithium. I'm all right. A little liquor.
Consistency is key.
I notice you always have that big gulp. Do you get a big gulp every day?
Yes, I do. There's 70 cents.
Nice.
Yeah,
Gosh,
so
that's good. 70
Yeah.
cents.
I get two. I get one. Like when I road trip back to Tampa, I stop, I fill the car up, I get two Polar Pops, 79 cents a piece. And they always have something you can get for $1, a Slim Jim or a bag of chips or whatever. So I invest $4 in my trip. It's a good deal. And then I stop on the way home. It's cheaper than ice.
Wow. That's
Nice.
cool.
All right. What did you say that you get? A what?
A
Polar
Slim
Pop.
Jim. Polar
No.
Pop.
Polar Pop. I have no idea what that
Circle
was.
K. Circle K.
Oh, okay,
So
Polar
you said
Pop.
pop. I noticed you said pop. That's a big deal for me.
Yeah. I say soda. It's called a Polar Pop.
Okay,
but
you say
it's-
soda.
it's fine.
Well, I'm in the South now, so everything's a Coke. So
Yeah.
I didn't know because I'm from Michigan where it's a pop, but I'm in
Yeah.
Tennessee now, so everything's a Coke. Right?
Nice.
Ben?
Or it's whatever you drink.
Yep.
Sprite, Coke Zero.
Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not your pop. It's not
No.
soda.
No.
You know. All right. Scott, let's get into the thick of the meat here, son.
right.
We got to meet you at the Nashville meetup. Such a fabulous job that Ray and everybody on his team over there on the Nashville Flippers put together, and our paths crossed, and here we are. So give us some background about you, my friend.
All right. Well, how deep do you want to go? Because it's deep.
Ben
I-
usually takes as deep as he can get it.
Oh,
Exactly.
thank you.
Oh, hello. Give me a few minutes to warm up here. I gotta test the
Sorry.
room out. I like CJ because he's got that Bill Burr, a little Bill Burr in him, and that's one of my favorite comedians. So
Yeah, they got to keep me toned down.
yeah,
that's
I'm
nice.
with you. Well, I am a newbie. I have resold my whole life, but I haven't had the title of reseller up until roughly a year ago. It's ironic because it was June where I got kind of serious about reselling. I'm a carpenter by trade. I had my own company. I tried a bunch of things here and there. I got my life and health insurance license. That lasted 2 weeks. I guess I should start way back. Growing up, my dad was the HVAC guy, and I hated the technical side of that. But his buddy was a carpenter. He wore carpenter belt, and building the house seemed cool. I was into Lincoln Logs and Legos and stuff like that, G.I. Joe. But I saw that I wanted to do that, so that's kind of the path I went. I've spent 2 years in college. I played a little basketball, but I was not a good student. Like other people in this business, I am ADHD or ADD now because I'm not quite as hyper, but I just couldn't pay attention. So college wasn't for me either. My best friend played football at Michigan, Ben, and that was 12 miles down the road. So I kind of dropped out went to work and just lived his dream, which I don't regret. It was fun because, that was 97. You'll remember that distinctly because of Charles Woodson. I know that's sore subject, but
Yeah.
but
Moving on.
yeah. I got a jersey here. I came prepared. But so I just worked really. And I always did construction and I grew up, it wasn't cool. There was no HGTV. That was what you did if you couldn't do anything else, right? I'm about to be 49, so it gives you an idea of the era I grew up in. I just always kind of did it with my hands, and I had a company. It would go good and bad, good and bad. And fast forward up to, a year or two ago, I had enough. We had a big tornado here. I was busier than I could be. I had 7 guys. I framed houses. And I just got burnt for the last time. I was just like, I'm done. I'm tired of dealing with employees. For one, my 7 guys went on their own, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. The thought of hiring new people, like, no, I can't do it. The newer generation. No offense to these newbies. Speaking of newbies, they just can't sweep, or it just I couldn't deal with it. So. I'm like, what am I going to do? Well, while I was working, I was kind of solo. I started just kind of selling some stuff about the house. I've had an eBay account for a long time. And I'm just like trying to make some extra cash. And I thought, I'm listening to YouTube while I work, build a deck or whatever. And these videos came up. So I'm listening. And I'll always shout out Kevin and J Rod. Those were in my algorithm first, I think. But that's who I remember the most. And I would just listen all day. And I just got addicted to it. So I started selling more and more. And a year ago, I went to a yard sale, and this guy had bought out a flea market. The old man that owned the flea market died, and he bought his back stock. Well, I walked up, and now, mind you, I'm new and fresh, and I've seen these videos. Well, I'm walking up, and I call my wife. I just stumble upon this, and I'm like, you won't believe this. I start taking pictures, and I have no intention of in my mind to be a reseller. I'm just like, just make some money. Well, I stayed there for over 12 hours. I went home and changed 3 times. I sweat out, in Tennessee, it's hot. Sweat out of my clothes. This guy's giving this stuff away, and everything was collectible, everything there. And of course, there's the Beanie Babies. I had some Air Beanie Babies new in the box. I'm like, these are worth $1,800, honey. I mean, I've done it. So it starts like that. yeah. And, so I end up with like, okay, so 12 hours later, he's shutting down. I go back and he said, since you've been good to me, because I wasn't even bartering. I just bring a box and he'd say, how much you want to pay? I'd say $20. And there's Charlie Brown from the 70s or an old wooden Buddha clock from who knows when. I mean, I knew enough growing up, the value in things. I didn't need to really necessarily comp, even though I was learning about that. But I would see this stuff and I'm like, there's value everywhere. I mean, it's pennies. So at the end of that sale, he said, since you've been so good to me and you didn't rip me off like everybody else, he said, everything left is yours. Wow. And I'm looking around, there's boxes. Like, for instance, like generic Converse All-Star porcelain piggy banks. But there's 50 of them there in a box. And I don't want them, but I'm like, there's some sort of value there. So I end up with all this stuff. And I have a basement at the time. And I come home, my wife's like, what are you doing? And I'm unloading crap. So I say crap, but that lasted me for 2 or 3 months. I mean, I was still going out sourcing, but I had all this stuff, and we actually made a deal he had a semi full of other stuff, and some of this stuff is really, really good. Like, you remember the old hobby horses that kids rode, and they had spring-loaded legs? I don't know if you remember them, but they're probably from the late 70s. I mean, I had one of those, and I didn't even have a cost of goods in it because I bought so much stuff. I bought an entire shed full of antique radios, and I learned quickly that the plastic ones were worth more than the wood ones, and I would have thought differently. So I'm selling these things like hotcakes now on eBay, and I'm spending all night long taking pictures, I had one of those yoga balls, and I had I painted one of my block walls in the basement white, and I put some laminate flooring down, and I'd just lay on that ball and just take pictures all night and just having a blast. Like, I can't believe this is this easy. So fast forward, I'm selling the stuff. I'm learning how to pack, and I'm continuing to watch videos. But I got to work for a living. But I mean, I'm getting to the point where I've got to ship. You know, I start getting late, and they weren't releasing money to me because I hadn't been on eBay. I had to settle a PayPal dispute from like 15 years earlier just to be on the
Wow.
the platform.
Yeah.
So it just takes off, and I'm addicted. And that's how I got my start. And then as I went, like, I've always been in sales. I've always had to sell a product. Like I said, I went and got my life and health insurance license, and I went to sales training. I was a project manager and a sales manager for a roofing company. So I dealt with insurance and being in front of people, and that never bothered me, sitting in front of somebody on a couch. So every time I went to a sale, I'd make a connection, and all of a sudden I'd come home and tell my wife all excited. She's like, when are you going to clean that up outside? There's stuff piled everywhere.
Yeah.
So it took off like wildfire. And, last winter I did my last project. I decided, I'm like, I'm doing this full time. I know I can. It's not, I've never been afraid to take the chance. And I've always thought I was looking for a job when I found this one. So if I got to tomorrow build a deck, I can do it. So that's how I got my start. And I'm full time now.
That's awesome, man. Awesome.
How long you been full time since your last job?
I finished my last project at the end of December, which is kind of funny because I look at my numbers, and last June I was somewhere around 8,400 for a 90-day total, which isn't great, but it's for what I was doing. I mean, I'm selling these radios like hotcakes, and really just learning as I go. And even it's funny today, a year later, my wife's out telling people or family members, they're like, you wouldn't believe what he knows. I'm like, I know nothing. I have a phone. It tells me everything I need to know. And once that secret's out, you're like, I don't really have to. But now I go into places, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Indiana glass, or that, it's just watching videos and doing it just created this fire.
That's awesome, dude.
Nice.
You talk about glass a lot, like on your TikTok. We're looking for glass. You like selling glass? Because I'm
I
afraid
hate it.
Okay.
I literally say at every sale, I swore off glass, but I know the value in it. And I'm not one of these guys. I don't have any stories of major home runs, like, something I bought for whatever that's worth $1,000. But I've found a lot of stuff for $1 worth $80, And if you find a bunch of those, how fast it can roll.
Yeah.
So I love it. The idea of finding a Murano. I'm going to stop right there. My first live show, my mother-in-law. Okay, I'm sorry. In Cookeville, Tennessee, we have Tennessee Tech University, and there's a craft center. And my mother-in-law was involved with the craft center. She worked for Tennessee Tech University. Well, she knew the glass blower. He gave her some gifts. She gave them to us for our wedding. So I'm grabbed this plate that's been laying around our house forever. We got like 3 of them. So I'm just going to sell it. Might as well get rid of stuff. I tried to sell it live for $15. It didn't sell. Come to find out, it was Murano, and it was worth like $300 or $400. And she probably has access to more of it now. So that's where I'm like, I can't say I hate glass because it's worth so much. So
Yeah. I always pick it up, and then when it sells, I regret, like, why did I buy this? Because now I got to wrap it. I'm always nervous that it's never going to make it,
Yes.
But
Yeah, the best way to ship an antique 50-pound typewriter is?
I've got a few of those items, sir.
Yeah, I've taken stuff down. I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Oh, yeah.
Donate.
I've got 2 saddlebags, Harley saddlebags I bought last year at a yard sale for $20. I think they're worth around $120 each. They're real leather. I mean, old school, in great shape. They need to be just cleaned, like vacuumed out. There's like hay in them. I still have not listed them or cleaned them.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff like that.
Does your wife resell with you, or is it just you?
No. My wife is a school teacher. She's a basketball coach, a girls basketball coach at our high school. I have 4 daughters. 2 of them are graduated and they're in college. But we have 2 on the team, so she stays covered up. She loves yard selling, but she doesn't like it like I do. She wants to go and buy the girls, whatever, some clothes. But
yeah.
so Alex, you'll know, she went to the Franklin yard sale, I think, every year for like 12 years. Loves to go to the Franklin yard sales in Nashville, but not the way I go. She made me drive separate last year because I'm walking around. I got, ice skating skates and boxing gloves, and I got a brand new bicycle for $15. She goes, "We're gone." And I'm loading my truck. I'm a wild man. I'll spend every dollar I have and fill my truck up.
Am I froze? I'm froze.
You are, but it's a good look.
Yes. You're smiling.
Dude.
Yes.
What happened to your internet? Or is it storming?
It's back. It's storming.
Yeah, it's been storming all day here.
Yeah.
How old are you, Scott?
I'll be 49 here July 12th.
And you have 2 already in college?
Yeah, I have one daughter. She just got engaged, Bailey and Colton, which is funny because my future son-in-law, his mother is she's extremely smart in the glass and stuff, but she's not a reseller. She does something, but she knows. I just gave her for a gift because they did something for us. So I gave her one of those 1973 Christmas trees with the removable bulbs. I just gave it to her. But yeah.
You got started early then, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Well, at 25. So Bailey, my oldest, is 21. My second oldest, she's in college. She's going actually to Trevecca in Nashville to play basketball to finish out her college. And then I have a junior fixing to be a senior, and then I have a upcoming sophomore.
Great day. Was Nashville the first meetup you've gone to?
Yes. Yep.
This year, or did you go last year?
This year. Like I am that fresh and new. Like, yeah, I am brand new. So it's kind of funny.
Give us your impressions and your overall takeaways from going to a reseller meetup. Incredible.
I would tell, that's the funny thing. Me being new, I could go in the weeds here all over the place. I've been lucky in my life to have, I guess that's where Rad kind of comes in too. I don't know why, but I've had some interesting experiences in my life, and a lot of them, like meeting Tom Brady, being there when he was recruited. But that isn't even the coolest story. I guess what I'm getting at is how fast I got into reselling, and then knowing some people that are reseller famous, I guess, to go into these meetups, to being on this podcast is rapid for other people. But it doesn't feel weird to me. It's weird and surreal, but I don't know. It's like anything I do, I go out there and I guess because I'm social, but going to that reseller meetup, I'm watching you guys on YouTube and like Ray, and I was so excited, and I go there and I'm like, there's all these people, and even Mimi, shout out Mimi, see her in person and to meet, and I've sold stuff to her. You know what I mean? Like now the shoe's on the other foot where I'm this seller, and not that they think I'm anything important, but here's somebody I've sold something to. We have this relationship. So to meet these people that I've built a relationship that I've never seen them face to face, just even Alex, like Hutch, we talked about Hutch, my buddy here locally, he's telling me all about you guys. Because I literally know nothing. That it gets me in trouble sometimes because, I have a certain personality, and I don't know the right etiquette or whatever. If there's really gatekeeping, I mention that sometimes, but it's funny because I'm like, I'm kicking the door in. I'm sorry, not because I'm special, but I am who I am, and so it's weird to. It's weird, like meeting you guys. It was so crazy, but it's not uncomfortable.
He's talking about you, Ben, gatekeeping the reselling.
Exactly. Stop it, Ben.
What do y'all talk? What is this? What is gatekeeping? I don't know what you're talking about.
You met me and known me long enough to know that I just say exactly what I think. I'm not smart enough to make up stuff because I can't remember it. So I just say what I think, and then I just.
That's true because you've lost my phone number more times than I can count.
That's the truth. I didn't know. I said, "Give me your phone number." He goes, or I said, I'll send you my phone number, I think via Instagram. And he said, I got it, dummy.
Yeah. So you had a good time. Hutch had a good time. Was that his first time at a reseller event too?
That was his. And it was funny because he had been buying clothes from me on Dibbed It Threads. And this is what's funny about that. I thought he was a woman. I thought he, like, you know, people are just in the text. You don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
And I just assumed, because most of
Does
my
he know this?
audience, he
Yeah,
knows
he's
that I
seen it now.
told him this. So I'm like, when I found out he's a dude and he's younger than me, I'm like, hey, dude. And so he came to my yard sale, and he was, I mean, he's a nice guy. He's from Livingston, Tennessee. You know, Tennessee folks are the nicest, like, honest to God. They're some of the nicest folks ever. And he was very gracious, and he's like, Mo, the pleasure's all mine. And I'm like, I'm just Scott. But he was super cool. So we hit it off right off the bat. And he's given me, you know, he's more technologically sound. He's been in the reselling game a long time. So he's giving me advice, but he's acting like I'm this person because I'm live selling. And it was kind of weird to me. I'm like, you're more important than me. And since then, he's got to know me, and I'm just Scott. But he's helped me a lot. And we went to that reseller meetup together. He said, man, I feel like if I don't go, I'll regret it. And I'm like, me too, I'm going, you know. So it was awesome.
Let's
Nice.
dive into you doing a lot of live selling, and like how many shows per week you're doing?
Well, I've slowed down the last couple weeks.
All the time, yeah.
Yes. I was going as much as I possibly could. I am the world's most okayest reseller, and that's all right. And I mean, as I'm unorganized, I've always been that way. I'm scatterbrained. I work well. That's why I was a good carpenter, because I want to build something in 6 hours, have all these walls stood up, and these homeowners say, wow, you built this whole house. And I'm like, it's really not that hard. Where the technicalities of planning that house took months, but you don't see any work done. So I'm the same way when in this reselling or business in general is I would just hop on. And once I figured out and got comfortable, I mean, I was scared to death. The Super Bowl night, I had thought about it going live at all these comic books, and I'm petrified. It's weird because I can walk in any room on the earth, and I don't care if they're homeless heroin addicts or the Prince of Wales. I don't care. I really don't care. I can talk to anybody. But going live, I mean, I was shaking, like petrified. And I went live with comic books and I don't even know if anyone entered the room. And I'm sitting there. But once I got comfortable, I'm like, funny story. My first kitchen show, I got dressed up like the Home Shopping Network. I put on a golf shirt. I had set up my kitchen. I was like, okay, sales. I'm smart enough to know you got to market yourself. I didn't realize we're going to show up in, wife beaters and just sit here with wrinkled clothes. And so once I learned that, I started going live and started selling stuff. Well, I don't know what the numbers are. I'm not analytical, but I noticed I had this bank build up. And at that time, I hadn't had 1,000 sales. So it's just building and building. I'm like, and in my mind, I'm giving stuff away. I wasn't sure because I'm like, man, that thing's worth $80. I sold it for 15. But then oh, wow, you can really make some cash flow happen here. So I learned, okay, quit falling in love with the product and think of the profit margin. I was smart enough to know in business that profit margin is everything. Some businesses operate on 10%. Can you imagine if you had to sell for 10%? And yes, you could get more if you waited, but that fast nickel, slow down.
Fast nickel, slow down.
Yeah, the fast nickel. So I'm like, okay, but I can't give everything away. So I just built that hybrid. So I was going all the time, but I noticed my example was you can saturate the market. For instance, I was selling Atari games. I'd come into this lot of Atari games. Well, I had maybe 75 cents a piece in them, and I'm selling for $7-8, plus probably making $1 shipping or 50 cents. And I'm like, man, I just made 370 some bucks in an hour. So I go on Facebook Marketplace and start looking around, and I'm just loading up. Or the next week, the excitement was gone. They had that copy of whatever it was I sold. So I realized right then, oh, okay, you got to keep this fresh and new. And then I'm watching other people, and I'm like, a lot of people were kind of what I'll call courtesy bidding. I've done a lot of that, just helping somebody out,
Yeah.
and I saw that waning, like, a DVD now, how many DVDs can you buy? So I've slowed down a little bit, but I'm just sourcing now in particular for those live shows.
Okay.
Well, tell everybody real quick what live selling platform you do your shows on.
I do it on the District app. I've been on First Class Treasures, Jake's platform. I've been on Dibdit Threads. I've done Dibdit Cards, Dibdit itself. So that's District. I have done Whatnot. I've done a show or two over there. And I'm not opposed to doing more elsewhere. I do believe in not putting all your eggs in one basket. That goes back to gatekeeping, and I'm kind of radical, so I may get kicked off all of them one day and have to stand on the corner and peddle watches. But if that's what I got to do, I'll do it.
I'm still confused on what a gatekeeper is. I don't know what that is.
Well, it's people. You want me to say it here live? I have no problem with this.
Yeah,
gatekeeping is the idea. For instance, I've seen just certain individuals who have platforms, whether it's social media, but then they'll mention people deriding them to get likes or to build themselves up. Well, to me, I'm like, well, you want followers and you want all this attention, but then it irks you if somebody else is building off your name. But isn't that what you started to do in the first place? So that's what I call gatekeeping. When you're mad, when you want attention, and then you're mad you get attention, and then it is what it is.
Okay, that makes sense. I wanted you to talk about the Nashville meetup because I wanted to bring this up real quick.
Ben wants all the attention for himself.
Oh, please. front part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard about it probably already. If you haven't, it's the East Tennessee Reseller Meetup, September 26th through the 28th of this year in G Vegas, otherwise known as Greenville, Tennessee, my hometown. And these logos you see right here are just some of the people that have been so generous and kind to become a sponsor for this event. They have donated money so that we can put on an event for everybody to remember. And our brother Rad Picker here is one of our sponsors to this meetup. Yeah. And we're definitely grateful for you, Scott, for you stepping up and becoming a sponsor of this event. And we appreciate you just being out there and doing that for us.
Yeah, gladly.
Shout out to Ray. Ray just sponsored to Nashville Flippers, so shout out to them. I think we have another one, but I haven't updated the flyer yet. So we appreciate everyone that's helped out.
Absolutely. And we're not going to spend a lot of time because you can go back and watch previous videos, but I do want to share this real quick. If you want more information on this East Tennessee Reseller Meetup, it's easy to find us. You go to our Facebook group page, the Resellers Locker Room Facebook group. Join that group. You'll have all the information listed there about the event under the featured tab. And here you see a list of what's happening on each day. There's also a link. This event is totally free. You just need to fill out the registration form of how many is going to be attending with you. And there's the link to join there towards the top of this page. If you'd like to become a sponsor of this event, maybe you can't make the event, but you'd like to be a part of it in a sponsorship, all sponsors get their logos put on all the advertising materials. If you're an anchor sponsor at the $100 level, you'll be able to come onto the locker room and we'll do a show with you. If you are a individual sponsor at $20, you'll get a segment here in the locker room, plus your logo will be on all of our promo information, and the sponsorship link is down below the registration link. So if you want to contribute in that fashion, we would greatly appreciate that for sure. But yeah, we got a lot of exciting things we've not even released yet, Scott, about this event. Yeah, and
before you go further, I need this point made. Okay. Please, and I've already asked Alex this in text, via text. However, I become a member here, a paid member, because I don't want to have to pull the card at the after party where I just walk in and we have a physical altercation where they say, "Sir, you're not a member," because I will put someone in an arm bar and head right to the punch bowl. So I'm ready and willing. I'm going to break open my kid's piggy bank, and however I become a member for the after party, that's all I want. That's all I desire.
Okay. Y'all want to tell him how he can become a member of the locker room?
You think I have any idea how that works? You click on some button that says join, right?
Yeah,
I'll
you
ask
join.
Mary.
Off of
I'll ask
Facebook.
Mary.
Yeah, Mary knows all that stuff. Hell, I'm a member, and I don't know how I did it.
Well, you have to do it through
Drinking makes you do stupid things.
You think?
But it's easy. You
Jefferson, it got you this far in life.
I know. Hell yeah.
yeah.
I'm cloud forward.
Click on YouTube, it says join channel, and you have the options of different memberships
Yes.
to pick from.
Okay.
Yeah. It is important to point out, though, Skybox member will stamp your golden ticket
Yeah.
to the after party.
That's
And
what I'm talking about.
yeah, so for those that want to take advantage of that,
Just bring your toga and some lube.
I was just going to
Well,
say, Toga.
Jefferson, I was going to tell everybody that's going to be coming to the after parties, both Friday and Saturday night, they do have to sign a disclaimer and a waiver
True
to
that.
attend.
My wife said I can't go after she watches this. I don't know what you're planning on doing there.
Oh,
I'm scared a little bit.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's going to be tame. S'mores.
Lawn darts.
Yeah, lawn darts. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
We're gonna do it. What's that Adam Sandler movie where they shot the arrow, but we're gonna throw
Oh, yeah.
lawn darts up in the air and we can see who stays under it the longest before running away.
You can hit me in the head. That's the safest spot for me.
Yeah.
Let's change gears just here for a minute, Ben, and talk about these AI programs that dropped. Me and you talked on the phone about this, and I don't know. Have you guys watched any of the Tekken video that came out?
I did.
James put out a video. Scott, are you aware of any of?
Yeah, I
these
watched.
programs?
I started watching quite a bit of tech, and I've seen that. And like you said, when we were talking about this is so outside of my wheelhouse. But knowing that I need to learn it.
Yeah.
But this AI stuff, I saw this a long time ago. I do have my own opinions on it. I think you're going to be a fool not to be all over it. But I do have a little bit of a caveat that I think it may take 5 years from now. Who knows? I think, and I could be an idiot here, that at some point everything will be so crisp and clean and perfect in AI that people will appreciate, just like we appreciate the nostalgia of collectibles. I think maybe, and like I said, it could be 5 or 10 years from now or more, or never happen. But I think people will appreciate authentic shirts of a wrinkled shirt that you have, maybe. So anyways, I'm already ahead of the game looking back.
Do you have the other one, Ben? This is the one that I know James, my boring reseller life, whatever the name he goes by now, but he's beta testing this one. And then whatever Tekken's is, what was the other one?
Better lister.
Better Lister.
Yeah, give me a moment and I'll pull that up.
This one right here that you have on the screen right now is like 3 to 7 cents per listing, because you're getting 10,000 listings, I think, for $69 a month, and then on text it's $50 for 100. But the difference is what I saw. What Tech was showing is it seemed a little farther advanced, maybe, and quicker, and it's helping with pricing. Now, me personally, when it comes to books, I would double check every book price, and all the information. So I wouldn't 100%, trust AI at this point in my business.
You say that, but when you use AI to do your descriptions, how often do you check it?
I never do.
I only check it after I get a bad review saying
Exactly.
this, and I'm like, wait,
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to check it every time, make sure it's right.
And then I message back to the buyer and say, you know what, I just fired that employee. I apologize for the wrong information.
I tried that once, and the message came back as, you're not some big time factory, because I worded it that we misplaced your product. He ran over it with a tow motor.
I've blamed on multiple employees that I don't have.
Hey, I've got multiple personalities, so I can blame
There you
it.
go.
It's legit.
I do check it though, Jefferson, because it always says like the page number, and it's always wrong. Like it's the wherever it's getting the information, pulling it off the internet, it's usually never
Yeah.
correct. So I delete that.
I check my descriptions on eBay when I'm listing, when I do the AI to write my description, because a lot of times, especially if you're sell one like this off of another listing and it'll import that same info. For instance, if I've got something that's not in the box and I'll hit AI, write the description, it'll say it's in the box. So that's why I always proofread it to be sure, this matches what I've got and not what I copied. But talking about these two programs, easy List Easier was the first one, and then this one is Better Lister. I've watched the videos on both of these and got to see the demos of how they work. And one of the things I picked up on right away is with the Better Lister, which is on the screen, it's like $50 to do 100 items. Yeah. But with the other program, List Easier, I think it's 69 and you can do up to 1,000.
Yeah.
So I don't know, guys. I mean, both of these are still in beta and they've not released it for us to play around with it. I almost wonder when they do go live if they will release a demo version where we can kind of test run stuff to see what we like better, I guess. I don't know.
I've signed up to be first in line or second in line, whatever. I'm waiting probably weeks before they release it to more people because I know they're slowly releasing it and working out the bugs, but I've signed up for both of them. I'm going to give both of them a go because the amount of inventory I'm bringing in, I need this in my business to keep up what I'm doing now, buying in bulk and everything.
Yeah, I mean, in your case where you're dealing mainly in books, but I brought up in our conversation on the phone, how well will these listing programs work when you're an everything seller like me? I mean, it's easy. Like if you're doing books or CDs in particular, like James is doing and his YouTube videos about this product. I mean, CD is a CD. It's going to be the same bubble mailer. It's going to be the same weight, roughly the same price points are not going to vary greatly. But
is that what you're talking about? When being an everything sellers, you're gonna have to go individually and adjust all the weights.
You'll have to adjust how many photos, like with the List Easier. Like if you just sell hats, well, generally you put five photos on a hat. You do the front, the left side, the right side, the back side, and then underneath it on the inside. And it batches it into your listings by the block of photos. But if you have one that has 5 photos and another listing that has 3, that's going to mess your batching up and it's not going to sync correctly unless they have a way of figuring how they can bypass that becoming a problem.
I think my personal opinion is I don't think they'll have any problems. I think just like as I go in and I ship out of like District, the app, like I'll sell multiple things and okay, so-and-so has got 5 items and the weight and the dimensions are real close. And I didn't even know that was a thing, but it's taking those macros already and getting something similar. I guess I'm 100% anti-technology. I'm a dot matrix guy. I'm not anti-technology, but you know what I mean? I don't like the idea of, I know no matter what, everyone's listening, all that stuff. That's neither here nor there. But it's like the more big brothers there, cameras everywhere. I don't like that idea. But again, you're foolish not to think that you're going to stand on the side, with a wooden horse or a wooden wheel and say, no, I'm doing it this way.
Ben's still trying to buy things off eBay with wooden nickels.
Hey, yes. I'm the same way. I'm with you. I'm 100%. And I'm that guy. Like even the AI descriptions, like I've read into a lot of that where you should probably just type your own. But if they make it more simple, because they say people won't even read that. If I have a flaw on something, I'll go to the AI and then I'll hit a few spaces and say, check pics for the dent in this or the whatever flaw it is. They're never looking there. I don't. I'm buying stuff. And then I look back at this paragraph. I'm not reading that paragraph. Our attention deficit's getting greater and greater, across the board. But I can't imagine they have any issues. And the first person I heard say something about this, which I'm always way behind the curve, is Hutch. Mentioned when he came to my yard sale that he has an AI assistant and he pays 25 cents a listing for, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. I'm sure he doesn't. But and I was like, and he's like, yeah, I'll come over. And he's younger than me, so he knows the computer stuff. Like, I am not. I run into something that just confuses me. I just stop and do something else. So you get the AI stuff where it's just automated. It's so close, man. I can't imagine them have issues. But what happens when that shortens a curve and everybody's on the same playing field? It's all automated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but right now,
get up in the morning, go to a yard sale, and do all that stuff, though. Go
exactly.
Ahead, I'm sorry, but people are still lazy. At the end of the day, even if it gets easier and easier, people are still freaking lazy.
You still have to pick, pack, and ship it.
Yeah,
that's a big part of it, right? Yes, and yes. I mean, I worked for a company that put in a cube automatic picking system, and this was the downfall of the company because it wasn't the right item and it didn't communicate with the sorter system. So they put a patch in there to override it and said if a tote came down that had 150 items in it, if one went across the sorter, they all must have been packed because who wouldn't pack them all? Well, the totes, there was 4,000 totes in this big, huge cube. Took it 3 months because it didn't reuse the first tote until all the totes were used. And one day, a tote came out and it had 150 labels in it. And the product was never shipped. But we ship confirm it and told the customers we did because it was all automated. Wow. Turns out we lost 37,000 orders in the queue.
Well, you know what stands out to me about that is receiving shirts off a live sale I bought. And this woman, shout out Energy Magnet, Tara, she packed all this stuff and it looked professional. And I throw stuff in a box, sometimes not even in plastic, but that personal touch said a lot to me who doesn't necessarily care. But I'm like, oh man, that screams customer service to me, even though I don't necessarily do that. So adding that personal touch may be the difference in sales in the future.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, I'm going to put you on the spot with a question. I think I already know the answer, but I want you to go on record.
Tom Brady. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to ask me about Peyton Manning. Who's the best quarterback? Sorry. That's all right.
He always asks, what's your crush? That's kind of weird.
Oh, that's easy.
Before we met at the Nashville meetup, had you watched The Locker Room?
No.
Oh, well, you're honest.
Hey, that's the only thing I got. My word and my balls. Sorry, you can edit that out. But I told Alex this, and yeah, I go. I'm not going to sidebar. I'll get to talking, but no, I had not up until that point.
Okay.
Cool.
Me either.
All right. Hutch did though.
Hutch did. He knew everything about you gues.
Yeah, we got to get Hutch on.
Yeah.
Yeah, kick this guy. Let's get someone back.
Come out of the
show. Good night, everybody. This has been the Reseller Locker Room. We'll catch you next week.
Is this live?
No.
No.
All right.
Somebody more interesting. Hey, but to be fair, I hadn't watched anything. If it weren't for the algorithm, I didn't even know who Tech Sports. I didn't know any of this stuff. That's why it's laughable when I hear somebody mention, yeah, people are using our names to build their. And I'm like, get over yourself. I mean, do you want people to follow you? Because that's how you. So if you're secure in yourself, you should be able to build yourself. And that's why I would say be positive, bring people up. It doesn't, like you saying, Hutch, why would I care if he blows up beyond me? And I'm nothing, I'm nobody, but that's so weird to me. But people are really like that. Sorry,
everybody's a somebody.
Yeah.
Just a quick history lesson since you're so newbie. Rocky Top Picker channel, my channel, I used to do Rocky Top lives, and I would scour YouTube to find all these real small starter YouTube channels, and I would bring them into my live as a guest for the purpose of introducing the new people to the community. And it turns out it has worked because we've got a community of people in the last year and a half, even, with the locker room as old as it is now. Alex and I.
We're still waiting to hit the algorithm, though, over here. So people know who we are.
Yeah,
fair.
We met Jefferson at the 127 because him and Mike Metco are real good friends. And
I say, and look, is probably out of place for me to say, but I was explaining to my wife, this thing's still in its infancy. That's how I feel as somebody from the outside coming in. Because again, I didn't look, to be fair to you, I didn't know who Ray was until 6 months before the meetup. Like wasn't in the space. I didn't have any reason to. You
that
know what I
makes
mean?
sense. Yeah.
And so when I did, now my algorithm's going, and then it might add somebody. But again, I guess that goes to marketing yourself. Why I wouldn't click on this one or that one. But I'm at work and stuff would just play on YouTube. So to me, it really feels like, even though people have been doing this 20 years, what's happening now, I feel like, and I could be an idiot, is it's still in its infancy. I really do.
Well, let's talk about why you decided to jump into the YouTube world. We got your
Money.
channel here.
Money. I'll tell you straight up, I have no desire to be famous whatsoever. None. Like, I don't. Man, I could go in so many different directions here. I've been around famous people. I'll just say that, and I didn't like. I just had buddies that ended up going to the NFL, and they changed. They changed in college when they became big time national champions. I'm sorry if they hear this, but it is what it is. I saw what happened to people. I've been around the bottom and the top, and I wasn't impressed with the top. I have no access to Tom Brady now. I couldn't even get a video made on my 40th birthday, and this was a man that I stood by myself on the corner of, I think, State Street over by Fiji at Michigan, drinking Mad Dog 2020 and Crazy Horse, just me and him having a conversation, and he wasn't a big deal to me. So and not a shot at Tom Brady, I'm just saying that doesn't impress me. So doing this YouTube thing, I know, I understand marketing, that the real money is in YouTube. If you can make $18,000 a month on YouTube, well, why wouldn't I do this? I'm going to do whatever I can, because part of my story is I've seen a lot of money. There's a lyric by Jimmy Buffett. I made enough money to buy Miami, but I pissed it away so fast. I'd never made that kind of money, but I've made enough money. If I was wise, I could have saved it and I would be set up now, and I've lost everything. So to me, it's like, I'm going to do whatever I can to make it. When I decided to do this, and my wife was scared to death and still probably is a little, I'm going all the way. I have nothing to lose. So
there you go.
I'm going to just talk, be myself. And if it never happens, it never happens. But I'm not going to fail from not trying. And I know that's cliche, but that's how I feel.
That's a great attitude to have. Ladies and gentlemen, go over to YouTube, search The Rad Picker, hit the subscribe button. He's got some videos up there that are really entertaining. Go check him out there on YouTube.
He's going to be at 112 in a couple days.
Well,
hey man, that's something, man. I got a friend that just hit 1,000, man. You know what?
I'm jealous.
Really, if you look at it, less than 0.5% of YouTube channels ever get to 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
It's a crazy small amount that even get to 1,000. So, I mean, if you get there, wow, you've done well.
Yeah, and I watch these videos, and I realize, this is what's funny. I'm kind of hard-headed, and I'm prideful, where I'll take it. I'm old enough to know to take and listen to people. You might catch some advice, but I don't like someone giving me direct advice. That's the stubborn side of me. But people are like, hey, your algorithm do this. Like, I had somebody, and they were right, and they didn't mean it negatively, but they're like, you could blow up if you did this, and it was basically going a negative direction. And I knew that. I'm like, I don't care. That's what you don't get about me, is I don't care. And that if it isn't authentic and natural, then forget it. I'll do something else.
Someone gave you advice to be negative, because what I like about your videos, Scott, especially I watch everything on TikTok, and you're sending out positive vibes every morning, while you're out there sourcing.
Yeah.
And someone suggested you be negative?
Well, they said you have a chance right here. They're just basically saying I could have spun something in a direction that would have brought a lot of views. And I knew that. I knew, I guess having real power is knowing you have that power and not using it. Because at the end of the day, that's just going to fizzle out. You know what I mean? Maybe I blow up and then nobody watch your videos because you're a fake. You're trying to come up with something. And I think I watched it. That's what I was getting at, is I realized the algorithm I'm not spending all my time concentrated on this algorithm to blow this thing up, which I should spend more time, like titles on my thumbnails. I know all that. But I watch a video about an old boy, and he's got a bunch of viewers, and he's like, why you should start a channel if you're older. And I kind of thought, like, okay, don't beg people to do that. Just be authentic. And if it doesn't take and you don't have good content, all right, I'll do something else. But I feel like if I just talk and be honest, if it slowly grows, maybe those people are loyal. Maybe I'll figure out I'm an idiot. But I have no desire to artificially inflate it, I guess is what I'm getting at.
How long have you been posting on YouTube to get to 100?
Well, I lied in on Keith's show because I said 2 weeks back then, and it was more like a month and a half. But it's been just a few months. I mean, trying to think, sometime back after January, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you said famous, were you talking about like people outside of YouTube, outside of reselling, or were you talking about reselling?
This is what's weird. I'm just gonna say it. I don't have any way to skirt this. At the reseller meetup, I had somebody that bought live from me that wanted to meet me, and they never came up. And after asking them why, someone else told me, well, that you look too busy. And I'm like, I have 8 followers on YouTube. I'm Scott who lost everything. I'm literally, but in their mind, they just saw on YouTube this got this big personality or selling live. And I'm like, and I remember when I was a kid watching, here comes Rad, watching a skateboard video is Rodney Mullen when he was like 13 years old. He's a famous skateboarder. And he said, I don't know. And he wasn't autistic, but he had social anxiety. And he said, I don't know why people think it's just me. And that's the thought I had of like, this could go a different direction. If you get, 15,000 followers, you get more pressure, more people pulling at you. And I can see it in people that, you build an audience, you're going to get more negative comments, and I don't deal well with that. You're going to get, I've just seen it at a small level with like my best friend in high school. Dick Chrysler was a big rich guy in our hometown, and they had an indoor pool. We go, and Clint's this big top 100 recruit in the country, and Dick would talk to Clint because he was famous. He's a high school kid.
Yeah.
We were all high school kids, and I'm like, I don't know, something about that feels
Well,
off to me.
I'm going to present to everyone my own personal opinion, and I may be peeing on some people's parades when I say this, but for those resellers that have massive channels, that have tons of subscribers, and they have that persona, oh, I don't want to go up to him, he seems busy. Let me tell you, the only difference between a person just starting YouTube and them is they've done it longer. They've been consistent longer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they're famous, because outside of the reselling world, they're like everybody.
Yeah.
We're like everybody's like everybody else.
I agree.
So I can see, I've had this happen to me. I'm sure Alex and Jefferson, you have too. Sometimes people that are just growing in the reselling and they go to a meetup and they see somebody that they watch on YouTube, they feel a little starstruck, for lack of a better word, but there's no reason to feel that way.
Yeah.
I saw that firsthand. Not for me. I'm nobody. But when I was walking into a Goodwill with Rocky Top, right? And these 2 chicks were like, oh, it's a YouTube star. And because it was on the bingo card. And he's just like, he didn't even see it. I'm like, that's crazy. They were so happy to see Rocky Top.
Hey, I was at the bins, and that happened. And I don't know if they recognize me, but now look, and I'm telling you, it's crazy. Whatever, 108 subscribers, so nobody. But even I'll go somewhere and my mom will do that. Oh, the Rad Picker, and it's kind of goofy, and that's how moms are. But I was at the bins, and these 2, I don't know, girls watch him, and maybe they just thought, oh, he's a professional picker.
Yeah,
see what he's getting.
He knows what he's doing.
But it felt that thought of like, I would hate that feeling of. Like I knew who Alex was, and I guess that's the thing is I go to yard sales and now I'll name drop when I get into a conversation. Then I'm name drop and I'm like, do you know so and so? And they're like, So it can be humbling too,
Yeah.
But
I had to mute you, Jefferson, until you finished making your drink there.
I wonder what happened. I wondered if I was.
No, it got quiet. It was. This ice
Yeah.
machine over there.
But it is surreal to me. Like I'll say that I will
I'm done.
always shout out Jake and Kevin because those are the two guys that I was listening to. I mean, all day building, framing by myself, just out in a cabin down here in Tennessee. I had a buddy that had a cabin build out, so I feel like I know them. And I told Kevin that to his face. I said, it's got to be weird. We all think we know you. You don't know any of us. And I'm trying to pour in 10 years of my life to like, I'm a good guy, trustworthy guy. And he's probably like, yeah, like the rest of these guys. So it's kind of funny.
I never experienced in the reselling community any bigger channels thinking they're big headed and better than anyone, though. Everyone's been down to earth.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
agree.
Like, I was involved in the music industry for many years before this, and those people definitely have big heads and won't talk to you if you're not cool enough, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I
I don't want anyone to get it twisted.
Community.
I've not at all, like, I'm not talking about anyone specific because there is.
Just been.
Yeah, they've been really, really cool. Everyone's been really cool. That's what I tell people.
Gatekeepers.
It's more like there's even people that aren't even on social media that come in. Like I just had an instance on a live that someone was just really disrespectful. And if there's been people in my live since day one, and I joke, you can say whatever. I mean, I'm a pretty moral guy. I'm not trying to really get too nasty or dirty, but I'm a Bill Burr fan. I like comedy. I've come from the SNL days, and I'll say whatever. So, but man, then people kind of took it overboard. Like someone said something about my mom, and he didn't mean it. This guy, but I was like, okay. Now, like, and I always say, you'll hear in my videos, you don't do that at Walmart. Like, people never walk up to me and disrespect me.
Yeah. Well,
That's the best place to do it. Just walk to a random guy at Walmart and just call his mom a hoe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
This is the difference, CJ. I got to say this because I was watching y'all, and you mentioned, like, you're 300 pounds and big dude. Like, I would never walk up to you. I don't care if in my head, who thinks they're tougher, all that BS, but like I would never walk up to you and say something to you to make you, especially if I didn't know you. But people are allowed to do that live, and you got to just remember, okay, maybe everybody, you don't know what people are going through, and maybe they're kidding. You can't read, through text what they mean. But I've got ill sometimes live,
I put myself in situations I shouldn't be in sometimes because, like, the one day I was like, a grocery store, and this guy was walking towards me, and his shirt said "Girl Dad," and I thought it would be funny to say, "Hey, so were you used to be a woman?" and he didn't find that very funny at all. And he was a big dude, and he was like, "What are you trying to say?" I'm like, "Girl Dad. I mean, are you a them they or what? I'm confused." He said, "I got daughters." I'm like, "Oh." I got a daughter, but I don't call myself a girl dad. And then he kind of snickered because I kept on with it. Yeah. But for a second there, I thought I was going to get my that was funny in my head. I should have just left
that's
it there.
Me. Everywhere I go, I say stuff to people, and especially with the Ohio State Michigan thing. I see someone with Ohio State, and I always say, "Go Blue."
Yeah, I'm with you. My stepbrother graduated from Michigan, so
fine human. Classy, good-looking, charming, probably.
He is. He was
the crop.
He was the head of the Democratic Party for Michigan for a while, so he's something.
This went south.
Yep.
That's not surprising.
Moving on. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank our paid members to the Reseller Locker Room podcast channel. We've got Wolfman Goodies over on YouTube, Mike Camparelli, Mecco Meetups on YouTube with Mary McQueen, who joins Mike over there. Trash to Cash podcast fellers, CJ right here in the locker room. Vintage Sports Flips on YouTube, Good Water Pickers on YouTube, Rick Rotman, Reselling with Woody on YouTube, Eagles and Beagles, and the one and only Biscuit Butt. These are paid members to the locker room. We value and appreciate your all support. And I will tell you, paid members, you do have a back room talk chat session coming your way. So stay tuned for that. If you want to join, simply go to our YouTube page, hit the join button, pick which subscription suits you best. And we'd love to have you a part of the locker room. All right, let's get to this, gentlemen. Alex, you said you had an offensive find. Is that correct?
Yeah. Let's offend people.
Yay!
I got
my favorite part.
I've got a few things to say.
I don't know if I've shared this. I keep forgetting what offensive things I share on the show, but I got this hat. Did not run it on district, so we're gonna. This is my new hat.
Gosh. That's from the Dukes of Hazzard. The
Nice.
Dukes of
Yeah.
Hazzard is
Crazy cooter.
Our cooter.
Is that embroidered?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if I found this at the Goodwill bins, but it's pretty cool.
Well, let's go to this. Let's go to the find of the week, gentlemen. If you've got a find, tell us about it. Who wants to
I
go
got to
first?
find.
Yeah,
All
go
right.
ahead.
I got 2 books.
Okay.
The Fall into Time. What's up with those books?
Let me share.
Tell me about them.
I don't know. I bought it for a quarter a piece at a thing because they were kind of creepy looking. And then when I got home, I started looking them up. And hold on, let me do share screen.
I've never seen those before.
Me either.
Look cool.
Well, your buy-in's good.
Yeah, I mean, you see that?
Whoa.
Wow.
It's great. Yeah. So hold on, and then the other one's like $200.
Wow.
So I don't know anything about them.
Where did you find those at?
At a yard sale for a quarter a piece. I just bought them because I thought they were creepy.
Hey, I have a rule of thumb, and that's what I say sometimes. I know nothing. When I say I have an eye for things, though, anything with a dragon, anything with a demon, I pick it up.
So I got this Clive Barker. It's audio cassettes,
Nice.
and it's got a sold comp of $40, and they're listed from like $40 to $70.
Wow.
Lot that with the Walkman.
Yeah.
You get $100.
That's a good
The
idea.
yellow Walkman.
That's
I paid
good.
$1 for that.
I had the yellow Walkman. I wish I had that.
Yeah, I went yard selling this week. It was fun.
I
Dude,
don't
it's been
have a
raining
find.
every weekend on Saturday. It's rained for 4 weeks in a row now, I think.
Man,
Yes.
it's so funny because I've been every day rain in the forecast, but every Saturday, and I start Thursday. That's the best part about here is they start on Thursday, and I, again, go to this place, and then they end up realizing I'm a reseller, and I don't run into that hate yet. I mean, I've had some people I've heard an old man say something, but I don't pay attention to that because I could easily just throw the arteries. But I found some great finds. I know he's picking on old men. Sorry, it's the Detroit in me. It has not rained, is what I was getting at by the long way.
You're not a spring chicken, just saying.
Yeah.
We're all going to be old men very soon.
I know.
I can't wait.
That, like,
Then you can say whatever you want to anyone.
Look,
Yes.
I'm already practicing.
Yes, you're working on it.
You're not-
93. Go ahead.
You're not getting hate though. You don't go out with the GoPro at yard sales, do you?
Okay, here's another Scott thing. I am dense, folks. My GoPro that I bought with Hutch, he missed it. Actually, he was at the sale, left, blah, blah, blah. I made a video about it. It's somewhere here, or I threw it away in the box. I had the chesty new in the box. So no, I'm still trying to hide my phone, and then I get embarrassed and I put it away. So like I said, I'm the world's least likely to succeed in the world of content.
I'm with you, man. I've got 3 GoPros and I've wore them twice. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll do this now.
Last year,
I want to get the Google glasses.
Someone says something. Are you filming my house? I'm like, no. Like, chill out. And I just left.
Scott,
a little strange.
Coming back later to rob you.
do you have a find of the week?
Yes. And I didn't purchase this, and I hope nobody sees this that was involved in this. But just remember, folks, go to the Lost and Found whenever you're golfing and dig through to the bottom, and you may find this. And yes, is it? I don't know if it's really stealing, but I found it, and it is in excellent shape. That is Scotty Cameron. Looks like a Newport. And I have a good friend of mine who said, hey, I sent him the picture because he is a really good golfer and a buddy of mine. He said, hey, I've got the tool to go with that. So I traded a Nespresso for this. I had $2 in the Nespresso machine. So this is a monster here. So somewhere, I wish I could tell you the exact comps, but it's anywhere from 60 to $100, sometimes 125 with the tool.
Yeah, dude. When I bought over 400 golf head covers off of Marketplace, dude, I'm still selling them over a
That's
year later.
wild to me.
And my Camerons I listed first because they're the top dollars. So
And it's funny. I've
been
run into that stuff my whole life and never thought. I mean, I'm surrounded by golfers. All my buddies golf. I golf, and I'm like, I've thrown stuff away. You know, held on to it for so long and just threw it away. And I'm like, you guys are selling Big Bertha 8-irons? Like, that blows my mind. You can get them for free.
Yeah, we had somebody on the show where they go to golf courses to the lost and found, and they're able to pick up all those covers. I can't remember.
I will do it every time. Paid for my round, and I was bragging. And the funny thing is, I dropped it out of my bag.
That.
Who?
Yeah, Shane.
Shane.
Shane. Yeah.
Yep.
You had someone on the show? You mean the member of the show?
Yeah.
Member of the show. I mean, I remember talking about where you go to the lost and founds at the clubhouses and get those covers because people forget them and leave them behind and whatnot. But
and they're all, and nobody really goes back. I mean, I guess I would go if I knew the next day, but after that, you're not going back every week.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, if somebody had it too, and again, this is probably me just justifying, but things at the bottom, I dug through the whole thing, and I know this course, and I'm like, this thing's been here a long time. But if it's anybody's out there, shout at me, I'll give it back to you. But the one I bought, I'd be remiss to not show you, is when I grew up,
Thigh Master.
But, and you guys answer this question, I buy this, and it was laying like this, and I buy this for $1, but I never saw the whole kit before. And I don't know what I'm going to get into here.
Is that a swing?
It can be.
I don't know.
So I don't know, but it's a whole kit. So I thought that was rather interesting.
Have you comped that out yet?
No, it's going to sit next to those Harley Davidson saddlebags probably.
Yes, I agree.
Is there money in the Thigh Master? I think I have a blue one or something. But
I think there is. And what's weird, this is the weirdest part about reselling being new. I'd watch a video, and every single 100% of the time, I'd go out and find something that was in one of those videos. And I don't know if it was just the mass number of things I was listening to, but it would just, maybe it's a camera, remote controls. You know, I was listening to Jake all the time, and it seemed like every time, blender blades. And those are my favorite finds. It's the 25-cent things. I'm sorry, I had prepped for this. I go to a sale, they have bins, it's 25 cents. I pick it up. I'm smart enough to know that's a tool. And it is a screw extractor, brand new, made in Germany. That's worth anywhere $45 to $80.
Nice.
For a quarter. That's the stuff I like to find because nobody's looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd walk right past that thing.
I guess something like that in my bedside table, but it's not a screw extractor. I don't know.
You can't get unscrewed.
You don't want to know what's in your nightstand at nighttime. That's going out.
Viewer comment of the week.
Yep.
Woo! Yeah, I picked the one that really spoke to me from Willis Deals LLC. Living up to my family's heritage, being a drunk guy. I can understand. And he said, thank you to Alex. Looking forward to seeing you at the meetup. And Willis, when we're there, we're going to do a shot, brother. You and me.
Wasn't that Hutch? Or no?
Was it Will?
Will, is that Hutch? Will's Deals and LLC?
Yeah, that's Hutch.
Yeah.
Hutch!
Dude. Hutch!
Hutch!
How about the Hutch?
I walked out when you guys were in the parking lot. Everyone was talking, Scott, and Hutch was there, and he was a super drunk guy. So I didn't engage with him.
Hey, that is one solid dude, man.
Yeah, Hutch, we getting tore up, brother. You and me.
He, we talked about going to that meetup, and he said, I'll drive. He pulled up, and we met, and he has the yard sale maps, the app with the yard sales, and he had it mapped out. So we went to a town halfway to Nashville. Then we went to the bins. He was the first one. He took me to the bins, not the Berry Hill, the other one. And he's taught me that's a funny part too, is learning stuff every single day. Like that's the part about listening, is not being so bullheaded. But I can't even repeat all the things he taught me just in conversation, just being a good guy.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Am I
So-
mistaken that he was the drunk guy though, or is that someone else? Because I don't want to say that.
I know
he was hammered
nothing.
and- You know nothing. Okay.
Hey, is
Could have
that
been
fidget
someone else. I
spinner?
apologize. Huh? This
Alan,
is. Yeah,
Is that the thing you're smoking too?
It's just you. Yeah. It's.
We got to stop this. Can we
No.
all agree? Ben, I've seen you do it
That's
too.
the greatest
Can we
invention
get rid
ever.
of these kaleidoscopes that smell like cotton candy? Like my
I agree.
nephews, we're playing cornhole and they pull out this tuba, and I'm like, who's baking brownies? They're
Well,
like,
Yeah.
imagine if you smoked cigarettes like y'all vape.
Exactly.
You smoke like a case a day or a carton a day.
Every time
I
that
can't handle
happens
it.
to me, all I can think of is this was in somebody else's lungs. What the
Yes.
hell?
wait a minute now. Well,
Ah.
for me, I never was a smoker. Vaping is
really?
what got me off of dipping, dude. I did like 5 cans every 2 days and dip.
Hey, I was the same way. But I had a run in. Talk about making a deal with the Lord. I was at the dentist, and they started talking about this blue dye, looking for cancer cells. I'm like, I dipped since 5th grade. Started with Hawkins,
Oh, Hawkins, that's what I started with, brother.
Sprinkle
Yeah, I
that
did
on my cereal, and then I went to
So
Copenhagen,
sweet.
Kodiak, and but they said you either got scar tissue or cancer cells, and I was like, all right, God, I'm done. But dipping—that's the one thing I miss. But I was born with a collapsed lung, so I've smoked my share, trust me. But I never was like a habitual smoker just because of that, because I thought I'm definitely going to kill myself. But I have to joke about the vapes because my nephews, I'm like, they're 30 something, and I'm like, you know what that looks like every time you pull out that billy club, like, light. Why do you have to do it inside?
It smells better than a cigarette does.
It does. You got that right.
It's
This
a
does
walking
not-
air freshener.
Yeah, this is not
That's true.
a fruity vape though. This is flavor gas OG. So
Oh,
and,
okay.
and it's a spinner.
Burnt tires. I can't.
That's
believe
awesome.
Spinner.
You're smoking, and you got the fidget spinner built in. That's
That is
Probably
wild.
the best product I've ever bought in my life, man.
Yeah.
I know, that's a great
They
product.
make one like a
I know.
yo-yo, and you can do tricks. I'll be in.
Hey, let me tell you, if you ever see me in a crowd, like at a meetup, and be talking, and you see me blowing big clouds, it's because I just farted and I'm trying to mask it. I'm trying to mask it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But anyway, tell us once again where the viewers can find you with your live shows, Scott.
Live shows, you can catch me on District. I'm typically over there, either Dibbed It in all the affiliates, or most of the affiliates, or First Class Treasures on Jake's over there. And I'm branching out, but I don't have anything in the works there as far as the lives right now.
I've been in on a couple of your live shows, but it seems like every time I'm in there, you're selling butter knives.
I'll sell whatever sells, my friend. I don't
Look
have any
at these
plans.
beautiful 4th of July and Christmas butter knives.
I got some here. I noticed I have a third pair. Hey, that's the stuff. The key to it, I don't know if it's a key. I'm making up stuff now. Is variety. It's got to be a variety show. And I don't plan. Like if I had to, I got some advice to pre-plan your show and take pictures. If I had to do that, I'd quit. I just literally, I will pile some stuff up, but if it doesn't go, I'm grabbing whatever's closest. And if I have to let this go and I don't get what it's worth, and I get $8 and I paid $1, I'm like, all right.
Now, see,
Profit margin.
The way my mind thinks, when I get into live selling, dude, I'm going to lay it out like the Price is Right showcase.
Really?
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I would be lost because
that's
when I get nervous. You can see I'm comfortable, but if you like public speaking, had something planned, and I had to stand up, I'd be scared to death.
Okay,
Same
let me
thing
ask you
live
this. Let me ask you this. We dropped this information on last week's show. Coming up at the meetup this September, one of the things we're going to be doing is having the best reseller beard contest. Beard. Do you want to enter that?
Ooh, man, I've got a rough.
You know,
beard.
you got some clean line going on, and
Yeah, I have to. Like my hairs go everywhere. I mean, this is unfair. Is he?
No, it's not. Here's the thing, man. There's criteria, and I'm not going to tell anybody what it is, but everybody that enters, we're going to be judging on different criteria.
I thought you were going to ask me something different because I was going to say I'm in for everything, but as outgoing as I am, this is a story. I was singing Pearl Jam Black the other day in my garage at 2 in the morning, practicing in case I'm forced to sing karaoke.
Well, you are going to, yes.
The other one we haven't announced and we've talked about is the wet T-shirt contest. But
I'm in.
only men.
I had to get back.
I
in the
got
gym.
some double D's, baby. I can.
I'm really. They took pictures of me and they bought me the Rad Picker shirts and the double X. I'm like, this is disgusting. I really did get back in the gym. I don't know. I'll probably quit in a week, but I'm like, you got to stop. You got to stop.
Wet T-shirt contest, only men. I'm telling you, it's a good one.
I thought I was.
Oh man,
it's getting bad, man. That's the worst.
Get riding me up there. They'd be like, "Damn, we're gonna throw up. We shouldn't have ate that seafood in Tennessee." Because he's like, "Man, get the seafood. It's landlocked. You don't get seafood where you're landlocked. Come on."
Demas's one time, I got lobster pasta, and I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
And I'm a seafood guy, but
I love seafood, but at the beach.
Yeah, at the beach, right?
not in G Vegas. I'm just saying.
I've never. I take that back. We've been to Johnson City a lot for basketball because we traveled the travel circuit. But I'm anxious to get up that way and hang out for a little bit.
Well, when you went to Johnson City, did you just go straight on the interstate, or did you come through Greenville?
Well, that's a great question.
If you come through Greenville, when you were coming up from Knoxville, you'd have took exit 23.
Well, we passed it. We went past Knoxville and
okay,
yeah. And the only other time, I guess, Newport's pretty close, right? Fairly close. I went to that Lollapalooza back in the day with Soundgarden and Metallica. I don't know,
Alex?
in the 90s.
Yeah,
and you're in Cookeville, right?
Yes.
In Cookeville, yep.
Yeah. Hey, your pregnancy test. He's pregnant.
These been sitting here forever. I had no idea what they are. This consignment chat girls, and it's a nail filer, so I can,
Oh, good. You can keep your nails.
I can keep.
If you could take a hit off of that, it would even be better.
And spin it.
I was talking to one of my friends today, and he said, "Let me call you back. I've got an appointment." And I said, "Where are you going?" He goes, "I'm going to go get a mani and a pedi and get my nose hairs waxed." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh, okay. Let's get into this. Let's get into this.
Just one of your girlfriend?
You have not got a pedicure. Oh, you're missing out.
You are missing out. I go with my wife.
Look, I got my roommate that I grew up with in my neighborhood. And look, my neighborhood, I've mentioned that a lot.
Obviously, Ben, this is the men's side of the channel over here.
Oh, no. You get a pedicure and a manicure.
Secure enough with
Come
yourself.
on. No.
You get a little, well, I'm not going to say that. You get somebody that's skilled at that. And I don't care. I'm telling you, it's the greatest thing. Rubbing my calves. Yes, I would like to see salt.
Have you ever gotten the hot stone massage on your legs?
I've done it all, sir.
I'm telling you, that's almost as good as an orgasm. You guys are missing out.
This is the only time I cross the line. And I'm going to go ahead and say it here for the whole world to see. I'll never be able to retract this. One time, I had a weak moment. I'm sitting there, and this was it with my wife, I'm thinking. And she said, "Would you like some clear on your toes?" I said, "Yes." So she proceeded to paint clear on my toes. And then, whatever, a day or two later, it's peeling. I thought, I really had my toes painted. So in that regard, hey, guilty as charged. But I never get it again.
You just lost me, man. You lost me. I'm done. That's crazy.
I thought this was a safe spot.
It is, man. I've had it done too. But you know what? Then your toes are really, really shiny. And you're like, this, I can't wear my flip-flops because some fella's going to think I'm a bear. Yeah. And the next thing you know, you got a boyfriend. He's buying you pretty stuff. Whatever, It's a good Wednesday afternoon.
Well, I've watched TikTok videos where guys go, even barbers do it now. They fill your nostrils with that wax, and they're on a stick, and then they just sit there and yank it.
Yeah.
Hey, why would you want to do that?
Tell me why. I'm jealous.
Nose hair.
Look at your hair. My dad had full head of hair. I'm going bald, but out of my eyebrows, my ears, and my nose is so I'm like, this is all I do all day, picking hairs. And I'm like, how can that grow like that? Should I stand on my head?
Well,
Ben, you can't tell me you don't shave your ear hair. You're my age.
Oh my
They make an electric nose trimmer
yeah.
that you can trim. You don't have to have your nostrils
And then your
waxed
nose
out. That's
itches for
crazy.
like a week because it's
Yeah,
growing
but they don't.
back.
Yeah, it grows right back. You
But
get
let me just since we're in this and we have no boundaries now, and I've exposed myself. It's an equal sin or worse for a man to have a mustache. Like, sir, do you not ever look at yourself in the mirror? It looks like you have a goatee in your nostrils.
Yes,
and
it's horrible.
Your eyebrows could be combed over the top of your head. Just manicure a little. You don't have to wax your whole body and all that. Shave your legs. But for the love of God, you couldn't get a booger out of that. It looks like you have dreadlocks.
I'm with you. You know what? And you should bleach your asshole. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not that
No
old
one wants
yet.
to get down there and see them dark hairs. Just make them. I'm not saying wax it because that would hurt, but just a little bleach. Make it look pretty.
That's too far.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
far?
I went too far.
Too late, Ben.
It's too late. I do want to do a couple things before we close things out real quick. I want to throw this back on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not aware, if this is the first time you're watching the Locker Room, it's not always like this. But anyway, Resellers Locker Room presents the East Tennessee Reseller Meetup, September 26th through 28th. Go to the Resellers Locker Room Facebook group page, and you will find the event tab. Click on it. It's free to attend. There's a register link. You have to register. If you'd like to become a sponsor, hit the sponsorship link. We cannot wait to see you and Scott and CJ, Alex, and all the gang. Archie Biscuit Butt's going to be there. He's coming in from Vegas. It's going to be.
I've not met Archie. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not met him yet either. So.
Oh, really?
I talked to him a few times. I'm on a chat
You
thread
gotta
with
come
him.
in like a day early so you and Jefferson can go get your toes done together.
Hey, I guarantee
I'll
you
do
there's
it. I
a
don't care.
fine establishment.
Exactly.
Have you? I wear Crocs. I don't know if this is kind of well documented in my live shows, but so my heel gets, really crusty.
It does. It gets
You'll
I'm
work
with you.
it all down, scrub it down. I've got some kind of fungal nails. When I leave
You're
there,
sick. This is
they've
sick.
got them just
No.
clean. It looks like,
I can't have anyone.
You know what?
I tried to do
Men's
it once with my wife, and I can't stand anyone.
men's health care and their feet. It's the freaking 2025 people.
Oh my gosh!
It
rub
ain't
my calves. You think
1991
I'm gonna
where
turn down
grubby
somebody
nails are
massaging
cool.
my calves? My
Come on.
dogs get tired. My calves cramp up. And
Exactly.
after that, I'm like, hey, I'll tell you what. I could go for some Kung Pao.
No, I agree. Yeah, but I don't wear cocks on my feet. I don't know what you're talking about. I wear Sedukes. I'm just saying. I don't know. That seems a little crazy, but I like to look at it and just say, "Wow, that's interesting. Nice to see it."
It's just getting started, Ben. What are you talking about? We got nothing. You're getting warmed up.
If they're here an hour and 20 minutes in, they have
I will say
decided we're okay.
I will say this. I did set a record on a different podcast that I'm not going to promote. They've never been 2 hours. I'm just saying.
Hey, I do want to give an honest and sincere shout out to all the lady resellers that are now watching the channel. Our demographic in the ladies have really grown over the last month or so. We want to welcome all the women. I'm sure they appreciate the mani-pedi talk, even though we're a bunch of dudes.
Ladies, let them know. Let them know. You want
No,
a man
yeah, tell 'em,
to
yeah.
have scaly feet rubbing them on your
No, you don't.
freshly shaven legs, and you want a man who takes care of himself. Yes.
We might eat cheeseburgers and Taco Bell for dinner,
And
but
there may be
we
some
take
in
care of
belly
our
buttons.
feet.
Alex, we've lost it, son.
I know you guys are manly men.
My feet are pretty dang soft, but I never
Yeah.
take my socks or shoes off ever.
You're one of those.
I sleep
I don't-
with socks on. I can't walk
I've
barefooted
moved
anywhere.
a year ago in August,
Too sensitive.
and I think I have like 3 pairs of socks. I do have winter socks, but in the summer, and I don't know how you people wear pants. I like in the summer, no way.
You
I
said
prefer not to wear pants too.
Yes,
I'm
I'll
with
walk
you.
around.
you Scott, you said you wear Crocs. Do you put those little, what do they call them? Little
Yeah.
I
charms?
would, but no. That's
You can
too
sell
much
them.
shopping for me.
You lot them together and sell
Oh,
them. on
I got
eBay.
actually flip-flops on. I was going to show
You
you.
wanna buy
I've blown
some?
out my
Book
four-wheel
one
drive
on?
strap on a pair of mine, so I'm going to have to reinvest. And I've heard people say, I can't believe they're the most comfortable shoe on the earth. It is the greatest thing to happen to men since pedicures.
I agree. I do have a pair of Crocs, but I
I
have the
dare
old.
you to sit down. Just
Do
sit
you
down.
have the
Tell me
old?
it was horrible.
Do you have the old school Crocs that are like
Oh
cork,
yeah.
or do you have those plastic ones, which I don't
I got
understand?
No,
clogs.
I got just the old school camouflage ones.
Yeah.
Now I did go to the cloth ones, but you'll blow a toe out there if you don't get a pedicure. One of them eagle claws would just
Yeah, they are.
work its way out, and
Exactly.
you'll be buying them.
Have you
It's
seen the
unbelievable.
Crocs, the cowboy boot Crocs that they put out?
Oh, I want
I
a pair of them, but they're like $300,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
I've got a fishing buddy. He's older than me, and he's got like work boots, like hiking. I'm like, that is the greatest thing ever. Because I would take the sole out of the
That's
cloth
Crocs,
ones
not
and put them
Crocs.
in my work boots.
Oh, Rocky Top stoned again. He's
You
always
would not
stoned
believe
over there.
these
What is
these
that?
these polished decorative stone sale.
I was just
What?
again. I told you about watching a video. On my algorithm, it came up. You know, the new app where you can go into a creek and take pictures of. There's all kinds of stones worth money. It's bizarre.
Just don't buy those at the bins because you're going to be by weight.
I
Yeah.
got our secret out. Yes.
Wait a minute, I didn't. Man, I screwed up. I didn't get my sale of the week in there. Let me get.
What's your sale of the week, man?
You didn't ask me, so I am not sharing now. Oh, I saw
Oh,
that.
you sold that. That's from the 127.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
That's really
got
cool.
it for. I got it for $40, I think. So yeah, that was my.
Oh, and there is an after I was watching because I really care about this podcast. I was watching the old after party things, right? I do care about this podcast. Don't take it the wrong way, but I think it was
Sounded very
47 or somewhere there where Alex found the football that you bought, and he told you in that podcast that he paid $20 for it.
Yeah, we've already
And
talked about this.
He
remember?
said, no, but I mean, there's an actual podcast where he explained what he paid for it. And then, he said, I got to get at least $45, otherwise I won't make any money. And then he sold to you for $40. He gave you $5 off what he had
What a
to get.
deal.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was so excited that,
I took that 45
Listen.
bucks and went and got a pedicure.
Exactly. You need that $5.
I had to come to grips with that scenario between me and him, and I've moved past it.
Okay.
So,
Sorry I brought it up.
I do want to shout out Chad, Wolfman Goodies. He mailed me a package that came yesterday. He sent me a dozen New Era sports hats, some with tags, brand new hats to give away at the meetup event. So everybody's going to have a ticket when you come in, and then we'll draw numbers, and we're going to be giving away all kinds of stuff. We got more announcements coming. You need to subscribe to this channel to get your updates, as well as our group page. We got a lot of information to pass along to you that's coming for the meetup, but those hats are super nice. If you're a hat seller, you can get into the giveaway to win. Also, if you are a sponsor and you have stickers or goodies that you want to go into the swag bags, you need to go to our group page, contact Mary so you can ship those things out to us so we can begin to build the swag bags for everybody that'll be attending the event. And anybody got a last word before we wrap up this version of the locker room?
We're filming behind the scenes, right? Tonight?
Yeah, after this.
Okay.
Hey, Rad Picker,
for
I
that
got one
show.
question for you that I like to ask. Are you ready for the zombie apocalypse?
Oh, that's a new one.
question.
I am up there with the 1% of ready for anything,
Okay.
especially the crazier it is.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie, The Crazies? That's one of the best movies ever. It's got the guy from Justified.
That's
it's like
what
his
we've been
first
called.
movie ever made. And like everybody goes nuts, and then him and his friends go.
I fit in right with the crazies.
The Crazies, I think
and the
so.
zombies sometimes.
Kind of like
I
this
know.
show.
Yeah.
All right, folks, go to YouTube, subscribe to the Rad Picker on YouTube. Go to his TikTok. Your same name on TikTok.
Yep, the Rad Picker wherever you can find. I know there's some fakes out there, but it is the Rad Picker.
He's the okayest reseller.
Yes.
Scott, two things. One, thank you for your sponsorship to the
Thank you.
meetup. And thank you for being a part of this edition of the Locker Room. And thank you for the friendship that we've developed. And we can't wait to. That's the thing about meetups, and we've touched on this before, is it's one thing to watch people on YouTube that you like to learn from or just be entertained.
Yeah.
But meeting them in person steals the deal.
Oh,
in my
it's
book.
awesome. It's like,
Yeah.
like I said, just meeting you guys was so fun. Just it's feel like I've known you a long time. I didn't know you're anti-pedicure. That I'll get past that. But I appreciate y'all having me, especially me. I'm a nobody in this world, but I am kicking the door in
No, we're all
We're in.
with
hey,
my smooth feet.
listen, we all put our pants on one leg at a time. So
That's right.
always, there ain't no such thing as a nobody. But anyway, fellas,
that's not
And
true. Though.
2 feet in a shoe. Yes.
That's right. One missing croc.
There you
unless
go.
you're a woman and you can put both legs in a skirt at the same time. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Reseller Locker Room Podcast.
What if you're the 1 foot flipper? Then what?
Yeah, it's
Shout
1
out-
foot at a time
shout out-
every time.
Yeah, shout out Paige.
What's
This
up,
has been the
brother?
Reseller Locker Room Podcast. We can catch us here every Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am Ben, the Rocky Top Picker, on behalf of the fellas. We can't wait to see you right back here next time. Go out there and flip some, and you too can be an okayest reseller.
Peace, bitches.